Procurement teams gets disruption notices constantly. That suppliers running late or shipments missing gets cut off. Someone has to figure out fast, which supplier is this really about? How much money is it at risk? And does the contract allow us a alternative fix? And does this need a human decision at all, or can it be handled automatically? I built a procurement exception commander, an AI employee on supervity's autopilot platform, of course, that automates the entire reasoning chain with real financial data and contract citations. Here are the individual workers. As you see, triage reads the incoming text notices and resolves the true internal supplier ID by tracing back to the historical purchase order chain. And never by trusting the supplier's name or the notices because there are a lot of duplicates. Like in the specific sample we got was Everbright. They had like duplicate names, 3 duplicate names, but different IDs. And typos are everywhere, so it could be a mess. But Triage used specific PO IDs and just tracks them down. And then we have Assessor, which basically takes the verified supplier ID and dynamically calculates the real financial exposure in ringgits using live inventory position and customer demand signals from our backend. So it actually finds out how much money the company loses because of a delay or cutoff. And then we have a planner that evaluates the specific supplier's active contract, extract exact clauses regarding the late delivery penalties, and checking if expediting is legally permitted or financially blocked. So this is the final. And after that, I'm gonna talk about the dispatcher, which is basically the orchestrator, the main. It's the manager. So it executes the logic of a triage, assessor, and planner in a single continuous sequence, handles data integrity fallbacks, and also dynamically branches depending on severity level. For this demo, I'm pointing at the dispatch at a specific notice ID. If you go back to, you can see this is the work graph for it. So it fetches the data, then goes to the triage operator, gets the ID. Assessor basically finds out how much money is in loss and other data. And then planner basically decides if it's important, severe enough or not, and then it just continues over there from there and goes to notify the human if the severity level is high. If not, then it just auto solves it and then store it back to the superbase. And then after human reviews, if it's severe, it finalizes the severity action and then goes back and saves back into the log. We use the superbase for the dataset or database here, and we have used for the messaging system Outlook and also Slack. So we have 3 integrations here: Outlook, Slack, and Superbase. So let's go to the auto app. We're going to be using this specific notice ID. It's a low severity problem uh, case. So let's submit this. Once we have submitted, we can go directly to the audit trail. So now switching to the live audit trail, we can witness the orchestration working in real time. It fetches the records. So it fetches the records, and you can see if the assessor found the conditions and stuff. The triage operator assessor is here. You can see the outputs of them. Low risk financial impact is within the standard operational tolerance. That's the decision I made. Then the planner operator run through the policies, governance, and yeah, it'll automatically expedite. So now it will notify us onto the Slack in the SITREP center. So we can go to the Slack and check if we've received any message. As you can see, we have just received at 12:43 p.m. the message, automatic incident handling. It has handled on its own because the stakes were low, right? Now we're gonna go back to other dispatchers. Let's go back to other operators and see what their process is about. So if you go to the planner, they have 2 processes here. It connects to the superbase using the system and then basically fetches all the incident for reprocessing, and then the other is process the incidents specifically, the one we have. It's for the applying the logic, the parsing logic. And then we have the triage. That's the first in line. It monitors the disruption notices and then confirms the ID. And we have assessor. It is connected to the Supabase. I don't know why it cannot connect directly here. It doesn't show it's connected, but it is connected to the Supabase. So I can't really open this specific, but yeah, as you know what it does. It automatically just assesses the problem and then, finds out the financial exposure. So that's pretty much about the operators. You can see this is basically the Supabase area we have. We have the database here with all the sample data provided here. If you go to the tables, you can see this is all the contracts, demands, and stuff in each rows. As for the approval, let's go back to the dispatch and run a different notice ID 100. Okay, this is supposedly high stake. So the execution start running. We are gonna go to the audit trail. You can see, okay, I'm gonna terminate one because I've ran it twice. So let's terminate the process. So we have one here. Okay, so it has done its own problem. Let's confirm. Okay, low severity. So maybe I have the wrong notice ID, but let's just see. So it has sent the notification. Let's just go and see here. New message, right? Right, so this is a low stake one. Let me try another. Go back to the auto app. Okay, I've submitted this. Let's go to the audit trail. This one is running. It'll take a few minutes. Okay, it's fetching. Condition not found. Condition found. Alright, it's done. So let's just see the workbench. So the way the workbench here works is by either approving or rejecting. So we had a specific case here where we could approve or reject the case. Let's check the notice ID. It was DN100. Right. So actually this is already processed. That's why we don't have to, you know, approve now because I've already run the test before. But you can, as you can see here, I will get approval notice here, and then I can see the governance warning and the mitigation pathways, and then also the risk. And as you can see, if we breach this contract, we can have a penalty of 120,000 ringgits. So I can either approve the action or reject it. Let's say approve it. Okay. If I do approve this action or reject it, so it currently should be working as it goes around. So here is where you actually would receive the approval in the workbench. And you select it and you either reject it or approve the data. And you would receive it on the Slack over here. Alright then, that's pretty much it for the whole plan. Obviously, the company, when they are gonna install this into their workspace, they don't have to like put in a notice ID because that would defeat the whole plan. It will be directly, automatically check the notice ID, the application, and then process the whole system and sends out the approval if needed. If not, then it will auto process and just let them know in the Slack or the Outlook specifically. All right, thank you very much.